P1-8, we're going to take a look at symmetry, and the symmetry this time is along the horizontal. And I am going to treat this one with the contours and regions so that we can take advantage of some of these shapes. So my rectangle, I'm thinking I will put the origin either here or here. Takeaway being that the origin doesn't always have to be on one of the corners. It's where it makes sense to you. All right, the other thing is we have a pattern even though one of the holes is missing. If I generate a pattern, that's going to save me a lot of the drawing, a lot of the relations, and building those items out. So I will probably, thinking I will go with the cut extrude as a separate. So let's pick up the sketch, and in this case, since I'm going to place the rectangle at the origin off of the side, I'm going to just sketch it out into open space. Select the origin, hold down the control button, select the line, and then this is going to become my midpoint. Dimensions, we'll go 120 on the height. We'll be at 100 on the width. And then I'm going to set up for the center line to just go through the middle. And I don't always have to connect the items that I want to mirror. So I'm finding those coincidences. I'm looking for those little yellow boxes. We're getting that in position. This one was dimensioned off of the edge at 40. It also goes, well, we're making an assumption. The center line appears to go through the center of the circle, so that would be at 20. The point is at 70. All right, and then from the center line up to the point is 40. And those hole locations also go kind of through those points. So in this case, I only want the two items, so I'm going to select and control select the two lines, and then control select the center line so that I can mirror those entities. And then the last line will be to connect those two endpoints. Alright, so that gives me enough for the contour and region. We'll go into the boss extrude. It has a thickness of 12. Put that into place. It hasn't selected anything. We haven't given it a contour. And it is finding the center line, so we're going to pick both regions, both halves. And go ahead and accept. And then we'll pick up the sketch. And so this is kind of an interesting relation. I could draw the locations, but we have that other geometry. So let's see, the holes are 20 millimeters, so let me get that dimension on so I have my sizing to start. And that's one of those cases where it showed me 20, but it's actually 19.9500. Yeah, way out there. So let's put in the 20. And then for the relations, I want to be along that edge. So selecting the edge, control selecting the center point, those will be coincident. Because I had an edge or a linear object geometry, and the point, that's going to be coincident, but when I pick this point and this point, those are going to be horizontal. So again, those kind of different combinations based on the selection sets that you make. Alright, so for my pattern, I have the first instance located, and we're going to go to a linear sketch pattern. The separation is 40. So in X we have 2. And until I add a number of instances, we have 1 row. So I need a total of 3 rows. After I add the additional rows, then it will open up the dimension and I can set to 40. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the values underneath our linear pattern. If I dimension the X spacing, then I should get closer to fully defined. And the X-axis direction at 0 once it's located. If that's off, I believe it will allow it to rotate. And then also we want to dimension the Y spacing. And then the angle between the axes, we might have to add a vertical, but I think I'd want the vertical rather than really dealing with the angle. Alright, so entities to pattern and instances to skip. So if I go to instances to skip, I can remove that item, but once I remove it, if I decide I need it later, I can't do anything with it. I would have to regenerate the pattern. So my preference is to go ahead and let it participate. Alright, so we didn't quite, and that's one of the issues with the circular pattern and the linear pattern, is that they don't always go fully defined. So in this case, since I didn't add the angle between the two, then I need to select that center line and make sure that it's vertical. Alright, so the instance that I didn't skip that I may or may not ever need, I'm going to highlight it, and because circles do not have construction circles, we have to convert it into construction geometry. So I'm either going to click on the pop-up and set it to a construction circle, or I'll come over and make sure that for construction is selected. Okay, once that geometry is in place, now we're into the features, extrude cut, and we'll go through all. So again, anywhere where we can identify symmetry and patterns and take advantage of those tools to speed up the process, we're definitely going to utilize those. Let's go ahead and make sure we save. Our part, and we're ready for the next one.